You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Little Fish Theater for their presentation of The Lonesome West.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Silent Brown. I do a lot of work with the Little Fish Theater here. The last show I did was Bloody Poetry. I also direct and act in a lot of Shakespeare by the Sea performances. And if I had to say something interesting, this is the first play that I ever did as an adult in college. And so this is me coming back to it after 15 years, which is kind of fun.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
I played Coleman Connor. Coleman is a guy who's living in poverty, kind of out in the Irish countryside, and he's in a really intense kind of codependent relationship with his brother. They're both at each other's throats all the time, but they kind of don't know any other way. And he's also a little bit psychopathic, I would say. As the play goes on, you kind of think you're laughing along with the guy, and pretty soon you find that maybe he's not the best person to to be on a team with.
Yeah, he was a really ornery old guy, basically. It was like, well, I'm not sure how old he was, but he was just an ornery guy. And I love characters like the Complex, but he was not a nice guy. He was not a guy you want to go out and have a beer with or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a very cantankerous fellow. And then when you start to get him to know him a little bit more, you see that it's not just is he cantankerous, he's actually dangerous. And you want to keep your space from him, definitely. Not someone you'd want to have over for dinner.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a dark comedy. It is a lot of fun, but it definitely touches on a lot of subjects that can be triggering, kind of across the board. It's pretty irreverent. It really makes fun of everything. It's just a really fun show, very high energy, fast-paced comedy, but at the same time, I think there are moments of great tenderness and great heart and great beauty. So I think it's just a really fun show. The language is great, the comedy is really delightful, and if I do say so myself, I think the acting is wonderful as well.
Yeah, I really love the acting, the accents, the meter, the just carrying you through the arc. Because again, it's a hard arc to be carried.
Yeah.
But again, and also it's very on the edge, so it didn't push you above where you just started laughing at anything because it was just ridiculous. No, you actually believed a lot of it.
Yeah, and that's actually something we worked on a lot when we first read the play, and I think this might be a trap of the play, is we were kind of reading it like it was a farce, very ridiculous and high energy and silly and goofy, and the more we got into it, the more we actually rehearsed and worked on it, we started to realize that all of this like vitriol and hate that these guys have towards each other is coming from a really real place, and telling each other that you hate the other person is like a day-to-day occurrence. So suddenly when it becomes more day-to-day, when you start to realize that this is their daily routine of griping and sniping and hurting each other, you start to find a place where you can actually come at it as a human, which is really fun, because you can really take away a lot of the acting, and the script really gives you a lot of fun stuff to play with. And especially, the dialect, an Irish dialect is, like warm butter in your mouth. It's so much fun. And so it's funny to hear all of these just awful things being said in such a beautiful dialect.
I had a really hard time at work today. I was really stressed out. Got a deadline, got to worry about a lot of stuff. But after seeing this play, I feel very calm. I feel very relaxed. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's, I think, what is it? Catharsis. You get to let all of your anger out through these two messed up characters going at it. That makes a lot of sense to me. It was an interesting play to work on. I know Bill, who plays my brother, Valine. I know him very well and have worked with him before. But it is always interesting when you're working on a scene or you're working on a play with someone, who's playing a character that you're supposed to really dislike, and you're just constantly at each other's throats. And thankfully, none of that really snuck into our interpersonal relationship. But there were definitely moments on stage where it was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to kill this guy. So yeah, I can see why you would come in and kind of be like, okay, my life, I've got it. No one wants to kill me. I'm okay.
Well, I love the performance. I loved your performance also. Thought it was top notch, and I loved everyone's performance tonight. You know. So, well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Bill Walsky. I played the role of Valine tonight in The Lonesome West. I've been a company member at Little Fish Theater now for 13 seasons. I was last seen on stage playing the role of Elliot in a play called The Country House. And I've never played a character quite like Valine. I've never played a defective miscreant like these two brothers are, and it's been a fascinating experience.
So what's your take on your character?
Well, I mean, there's clearly something wrong. Something went wrong when he was in the oven. Either he's undercooked or he's overcooked, but something went wrong with these brothers, the way they were raised. We talked a lot about isolation in remote parts of Western Ireland and how a person, when their world is so small, becomes overly possessive of things that have very little importance to them or that would have little importance to somebody else. I fancy traveling the world. My wife and I actually just came back from the UK for 2 weeks, and I think that when you travel the world, you start to see things from a different perspective. But when you isolate yourself, you see things from a different perspective as well, and your morals become corrupted in a way, and that's exactly what we see in this little small town of Leenane, where Martin McDonagh has set this play. And these two brothers literally spend the entire 2 hours on stage just trying to kill each other because, like I said, they're defective miscreants, and I don't think they know and understand anything else.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but first of all, we live in the United States. We live in a very rich country. We live in a country where, it's actually illegal to leave a kid alone for 15 minutes. I mean, say he was growing up, he was very poor. Say he was extremely poor. Say his father beat him because that's what Catholics did back then. If you love your kid, you'll punish him, so you're going to slap him around every now and then, right? You'll yell at them. And even though they're supposed to go to church, supposed to be loving people, all the time just telling you no damn good. You're no good. You know what I mean? And that just, you start developing psychotic things, you know what I mean? So basically, again, it's possible that they were just, that we're just living in a different realm. We're kind of living in a strange realm. They're the people actually living in the real world. You know what I mean?
Well, how many times have you heard or read on social media where somebody shares a meme or something like that talking about what it was like riding bicycles without helmets, riding in cars without seatbelts? We got spanked by our mothers and we turned out just fine. Except maybe you're not turning out just fine because, you might be a little off kilter yourself. Or it's a tradition to beat children, so I'm going to beat mine, and then my children will beat their children. And if they don't beat their children, why, gosh, as a grandfather or grandparent, I'll beat their children, and okay, sure, there's a culture, and I guess that it's a tradition, as strange or morally corrupt as it may seem to other people. But, you can look at psychological tests and studies and things like that show the effects of abuse or neglect or, just the way that they were raised. I mean, they allude to their dead father as a man who screamed at nuns. I went for exactly 1 year to a parochial school. And while I never got beaten by the nun as a 5 or 6 year old, I saw plenty of it, and that's, it scared me straight. I saw a kid get dragged by his hair, slid across the floor 4 feet, and banged his head up against the bottom of the chalk tray on the chalkboard after she threw him. And is that a good thing to be doing? No. But somebody, maybe that little child grew up and he's now a 42-year-old man saying, I turned out just fine. I guess it's up to you to judge.
Yeah. So if my viewers come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Violence. Terrible deeds. A lot of messy fights. And perhaps a strange but familiar justification for bad behavior because of family ties and family tradition. And maybe you'll actually relate to it. I have to say, in a strange way, I hope my family's not listening to this podcast. In a strange way, I'm reminded of certain aspects of my childhood when I look back and study this and try to come up with ways in which I can relate to the words in the script. Sometimes we grow up and say, well, I hope that I'm not like so-and-so, or I hope that I've outgrown the things that I should have outgrown. As strange and crazy and off the wall as this black comedy is, I think people will actually relate to it.
I had a really hard time at work today. I was really stressed coming in. Right now I feel very relaxed. I'm not sure if I'm just comparing myself, saying, or at least I'm not like them, or basically all the emotions just flew out of me, and I experienced, the pain and the anxiety, and I can leave here and all that. But I just feel very relaxed right now.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep great tonight. I feel exactly the same way. It's a great experience to go to theater and experience a journey. Whether it's because you're relating to somebody, or whether it's because you laughed so hard that you're tired, or whether you cried and found the whole evening or the whole story cathartic. Certainly as an actor, we get all that stuff out too. We can take a bad day and use it to our advantage, take that energy and focus it onto our performance on the stage. I'm not saying that there's any kind of mental magic involved in it. I'm just saying you take whatever energy and you just direct it. And you focus on your show and you leave all the other at the door, and hopefully we have that transformative effect on our audience too. Leave all your crap at the door, come in, get comfortable, buy a glass of wine, sit down, and live somebody else's life for 2 hours. That's the whole magic of theater.
Well, I really loved the performance tonight. I loved your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you, Ashton. It's always good to see you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Brendan Kane. I'm an actor here at Little Fish, and I play Father Welsh in Lonesome West, and I'm just happy to be here, happy to be acting for you.
What's your take on Father Welsh?
He is a priest just trying his best. He came to this place, and he thought it was a wonderful place, and it turns out it's the worst place in Ireland, and so he's trying to combat the people of this town in Leenane, and as well as his loss of faith.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see some very dark comedy and some very dark elements, and how modernity has left this kind of place, has left it behind.
I really love the way you played your character. Because basically, first of all, usually I don't like characters who are just really nice. Just all they are just good, and basically that's it. And it's really boring character. But you're very maudlin, but also you kind of drove a message, and you had a very complex story too. So it wasn't like you were just a nice guy, even though, again, you were a typical Catholic father who was just a very nice guy, suffering like, a lot of Catholic saints suffer.
Yes.
And your acting also was very wonderful. I mean, it was you connected with the audience, and I just loved the way you did it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So basically, also another thing, I feel very relaxed. Right? I had a very hard time at work today. It was very frustrating. A hard deadline that I had to worry about. But after seeing the performance, I feel very relaxed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I feel very good right now.
Some comedy, sometimes just like laughing for 2 hours can really just take you out. It'll give you a nice escape, especially when the people on stage are having worse troubles than you are. So it's a nice escape.
Okay. Well, basically, once again, I loved the performance. I loved the performance as a whole. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
My name is Eliza Faluna. I'm a recent graduate of UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television. This is my first show with Little Fish Theater, and it's been a blast. I've enjoyed every second of it. I played Gerline, and she is a feisty little schoolgirl who thinks that she can keep up with the big boys, and she does. She definitely keeps up with their humor and their crude jokes, but she also has a really soft spot, and she has a intense crush on the Father Welsh character. But she's too afraid to let him know that.
So if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
You should expect to see a crazy show. It really shows kind of the dark sides of humanity, but it also is a dark comedy, and so there's a lot of humor and crazy antics going on between all the characters, and it's a fun ride.
Actually, I really enjoyed the play tonight. Oh, a strange thing, I had a hard time at work today, and suddenly I feel very free. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'm comparing myself to them. At least I'm not as bad as them, or maybe it just allowed a lot of emotion to get out of you just by watching a piece like this. What are your thoughts on something like that?
Yeah, it is definitely a very cathartic experience, I would say. You just see these characters go through this intense realm of emotion, and you can kind of see yourself in that, and can kind of be convicting in a sense, because there's some dark corners of their personalities that they show, but it's definitely it gets you to laugh about it. And I think that would probably be what frees you up and gives you that sense of cathartic release.
First of all, it's very Catholic. And again, usually when I think of Catholic, I'm thinking about, suffering. I'm thinking about, sacrifice and all that. I'm thinking of poverty. This actually, I'm not sure how I should put it. This one actually showed me a little bit about their faith. I believe they coined the phrase, the Catholics believe that they'd rather laugh about their problems than cry about them. I mean, and that's what this piece was about. Yeah.
I think it definitely, the influence of religion in this piece, it touches on the comedic hypocrisy of some of the characters and the way that they kind of don't understand the religion and just use it as this base coat of I'm forgiven for my sins even though I committed a murder. And so, and that is, I think it definitely gets you to kind of laugh at the way that these people approach their religion and approach, even though it is obvious in Father Welsh that there is a deeper truth to it that these characters just are not understanding.
Once again, I really love the performance. I love your performance. I love the accents, and I love the, basically carrying us through the arc. Because again, this is sometimes kind of dark, sometimes it's kind of silly, but you guys carried us through the arc very well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
The Lonesome West will be playing at Little Fish Theater from August 22nd to September 15th. For more information, go to www.littlefishtheater.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Sierra Madre Playhouse for their presentation of The Joy Luck Club.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here
with Tim Dang, the director of the Joy Luck Club at Sierra Madre Playhouse.
So, question: why did you want to do this piece anyway?
I was the producing artistic director of East West Players, which is the nation's premier Asian American theater that was founded in 1965. And when East West Players did the Joy Luck Club in 2008, it was directed by a very well-known director named John Lawrence Rivera. So when Christian Labano approached me from Sierra Madre Playhouse, he's the artistic director there, and he approached me about the Joy Luck Club, I had to think, this is a really good time to bring this story up again because of Crazy Rich Asians, the movie, because of Fresh Off the Boat, the TV series. And so there's a lot of Asian American stories that's happening that, all around the world now. And so I thought that when he came to me and approached me about the Joy Luck Club, I said yes, because this was a good time to bring all these stories to life. And the good thing about the Joy Luck Club is that it has 16 stories about mothers and daughters. They're immigrant mothers and the American daughters. And so this is what we wanted to bring to the stage and hopefully share with the rest of the community.
Well, I love the piece. I love the story. But, I remember when I first saw Joy Luck Club. Well, they say that, Crazy...
You mean the film,
yes.
The Joy Luck Club?
Yes, the film. They say that Crazy Rich Asians was the first all Asian mainstream cast since the Joy Luck Club. But when you think about it, for male Asian role models, there were no male Asian role models in the Joy Luck Club. This may have been the first time there was a male Asian role models with Crazy Rich Asians. But then I'm thinking, does that make it better? Does it make it better? Because in a theater piece, you gotta have villains. You have to have antagonists. You have to have the drama. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Okay, so when you think about China, it's a patriarchal society where men could have 5 wives, where men treated the women like property. Then when you think about America and the relationships of how men and women are in America, while it may be better, it's still not the best situation, right? So a lot of the daughters ended up with divorce, in this particular story. So I think that this story reminds us of the inequities that happen not only in China but also in America, and the kind of empowerment and passion that these women have to have in order to endure. I don't necessarily think of it that all the men are such terrible people, but it is more about the celebration of how women have overcome their problems and issues from the time that they were in China through arranged marriages till the time when they are in America and they're quote unquote American, but still that there are issues that they need to deal with in terms of trying to be American, but at the same time they have a history of being Chinese as well. So it's very challenging, very, very challenging.
Yeah. Well, one of the hardest jobs of a director is casting. Obviously, one of the most important jobs also. Oh, what do you look for in casting anyway?
In this particular show, we were very fortunate to have over 300 women audition for the show. So once we were able to call back the cream of the crop, we found out that we could actually cast an all-Chinese cast, with the exception of the Caucasian actor. And so we kind of went with that, because if we needed to have someone speak in Mandarin, that we had that luxury of doing the show or doing sections of the show in Mandarin as well as in English. So that was the really great part of it. But just in terms of casting, what we were looking for were those actors who were able to bring the emotion across. If you think of the book, the film, and then the play, the important thing about the play is that the actors actually talk to the audience. So we needed those actors who were very comfortable that when they're speaking, they're actually communicating with the individual people in the audience. And that was the important thing in terms of telling the story and being able to emotionally recreate those stories for the audience in the theater.
Well, first of all, I'm glad that you guys got an all-Asian cast, an all-Chinese cast, because I remember when the Joy Luck Club, the film, first came out, they thought that they were going to have enough Asian actors, period, to be able to cast the film. In fact, one of the female leads, she was actually Vietnamese.
Correct. And so, that was back in the 1980s, so this is 2019. I think the times have changed. There is a much more abundance of Asian American actors of every single ethnicity, and I think that in terms of the authenticity, that it was right that Sierra Madre Playhouse thought about the possibility of casting an authentic cast for the Joy Luck Club. We did look at all 300 people, so again, we did look at Korean Americans, Japanese Americans, Filipino Americans, and we called them all back. But then once we finally decided in terms of how we wanted to cast the show, there was that possibility that we could cast an all ethnically Chinese cast.
Well, I thought you guys did a fantastic job. Wonderful. Because, again, Joy Luck Club was about 12 actors, like 4 mothers, 4 daughters, 4 antagonist males. So, again, to get all those stories combined together was quite a feat. And to have this performance done so well was just a tribute to you also.
Well, great. You know, it is a challenge trying to remember who everyone was. And so the costume designer did a really good job in terms of color coordinating all the mother and daughters. The set designer, who also did the projections, made sure to introduce everyone's name on the projections, and then we made it very clear in terms of who was telling whose story. So, yeah, that was very important that we tried to make it as clear as possible in terms of who everyone was on stage.
Once again, beautiful piece. I loved it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Sure. Thank you so much for coming. And this show runs until October 5th, so please come and check it out at Sierra Madre Playhouse.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Christine Liao. I'm playing Waverly in Joy Luck Club, and I'm working with Lee Chen, who plays my mother, and she's actually played my mother before, and I'm so excited to be able to tell this story of Joy Luck Club to the audiences. Waverly is very confident, and I think it's a little bit overconfident just because she wants to impress and get her mother's approval. But I think deep down she is pretty vulnerable. But I think she masks that with overconfidence. But she's also a national chess champion at age 9.
I always loved that character. I always thought she was the modern day kind of like feminist because she was very strong. She didn't let anyone tell her what. Even though her mother greatly influenced her, she still wouldn't let her tell what to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean she says that she earns more in 1 year than her parents did in 10. So she's definitely worked up that ladder. Yeah.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Oh, a lot of stories of mothers and daughters, and I think joy, of course, with Joy Luck Club, but also I expect to have some emotions, maybe bring some tissues. Yeah.
I love the piece because I think it's a real theater piece. You know what I mean? It's real soul-crushing. I love soul-crushing pieces. I love complex villains. And again, the males here, again, they were all kind of anti-heroes. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's very focused more on, I think, women and the women's journey and their relationships between mother and daughter. And I feel like specifically, I think they're growing up in China, but also the Asian American experience, the Chinese American experience. They really go into that. Yeah.
Well, I really love the performance. I love your performance, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Christopher Chen. I play Canning Wu, the widower of Su Yan, and the father of Jing Mei Wu in the play. And I studied theater at Northwestern University, and I am Chinese American, son of immigrant parents who came from mainland China. And this play, Joy Luck Club, is my family's story as well. I love the character of my daughter because she bridges the gap. That's June or Jing Mei Wu. She bridges the gap between the mothers, the older generation, coming to, and then the American born. And I love the journey that her character takes in the play in bridging that gap, but also coming to terms with what her mom's legacy was, what her legacy will be. And I just love that journey that she takes.
But for characters that you played, because you're basically the guy. You are the one who created your characters. What's your take on your favorite characters that you played?
Oh, I love playing the Moon Lady because she's all fantasy. She's all wishes. And our play will run into the Moon Festival. That'll be in the middle of our run. And I love that the Moon Lady, I get to play her. And then Canning, I like him being the voice of the missing mother. That's a nice thing to have, a kind of a masculine take on the female mother type. So being the male parents and speaking for the mother as well. I love those two characters the best of the ones I play. And then Wu Xing is of a different time with his 5 wives. I also play Wu Xing, and he has many wives, and there is some redemption when that the character of An Mei tells in that when the mother of An Mei passes away, that he has regrets, and I like that part of the story too.
Great. So if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
You will see beauty and legacy and generation. I love the 4 mother-daughter stories. It's beautiful. Our cast is, as some of your listeners know, this is the first professional cast of all Chinese playing Chinese characters. They've never had that before in a production, and we get to bring our authentic stories to the play. And all of us do speak Mandarin Chinese to some extent or another, so we get to bring that to the play as well.
Yeah, they say Crazy Rich Asians was the first mainstream film that basically had an all-Asian cast since the Joy Luck Club. But when you think about it, as for Asian American males, there were no leading men in Joy Luck Club. They were all villains. So Crazy Rich Asians, I think, was the first time they had leading men. But I love villains, and I love the villains in this play. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was so great to see Henry Golding be like the classic leading man in an Asian romantic comedy. But villains are fun too. Russell Wong played the original Watermelon Man in the movie, and he was one of our leading men of that era. But it was a supporting role then. And in this play, we do have that character as well as the Watermelon Man, and he brings a lot of. He represents the fertility and the relationships lost in that era. But I love in this character. It is a women's in this play and story, and Amy Tan's novel. It is a women's story, but the men are important. And yes, some of them are painted as villains, but it gives a nice. There's no drama without villains, so it brings the drama to have the men represent some of the villains, including my character that I play of Wu Sing. He's not, but he does have some redemption, like I said.
Well, I love the piece, and I loved your acting in it also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Gloria Tsai. Well, I'm new to Southern California. I moved here from Texas last September and have just been really kind of furthering my acting career, and I feel so honored and so blessed to be a part of this production.
Great, and which character do you play?
I'm an ensemble member, so I play a lot of the little ancillary characters. Matchmaker, the family servant Yan Chang, and then also at the very end, I'm one of the twin sisters that she goes to meet.
So if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, you should expect to see stories. It's great storytelling. It's about family and legacy, mothers and daughters and those relationships. It's stories about immigrants, Chinese immigrants specifically, and I think you should expect to laugh a little and cry a little. It's got everything.
Yeah, I love the piece because this is actually very theatrical.
Yes.
You know how theater is soul crushing. You know how great theater, like everyone dies at the end. Well, they don't die at the end, but basically this actually shows all the drama, a lifetime of hurt and unreconciliation.
Yes.
And reconciliation.
Exactly. It has all those things, So it's a lovely story.
Yeah, great. So once again, love the piece. I love your acting, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. So great to meet you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Grace Shen.
Great. Can I get a brief bio of you, an introduction, or just anything you want to say?
I'm from Vancouver originally and born in Hong Kong. I've been in LA for a long while, just pursuing the acting, and I so enjoy it. And the Joy Luck Club is a story that I just feel so passionate and just resonates with me a lot.
Great. Which character did you play?
I played An Mei. She lost her mother when she was young, at nine years old. So I think she has 7 children. So she is trying to do her best to be the best mother she can without having a mother of her own. So yeah, and because she lacks wood, so she finally understands and grows and gets a lot more courage.
What I kind of liked about it was that there were so many stories in it, but that meant every single actor had an arc. You had a specific arc just for you. You were just like this token Asian person in the corner. You had your own arc. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because she lost her son, so that's the big emotional arc that she has. And everyone thinks she lost her faith in God, but I think through this tragedy, she gains, because of it, more strength and conviction in God and in the rest of her life.
Well, I love the performance, and I love your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Catherine Chen Lerner. I'm an actor. I just moved here from New York City, so I've been in Los Angeles for a couple months. I'm so excited and honored to be a part of Joy Luck Club. I'm also honored to be a part of this all-Chinese cast and be able to tell these stories that I think are so important.
Great. Now, which characters did you play tonight?
I'm playing Lena, one of the daughters. I think she is just trying to do her best, and she's always trying to make sure that she is seen the best light, and a lot of the times that makes her question her real motives.
Yeah, if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they should come to see a play about mothers and daughters, about Chinese heritage, about expectations between East and West, and most of all, just connection.
I thought it was a very dramatic play. You know what I mean? I love soul-crushing plays. I love plays where everyone dies at the end. Well, they didn't die at the end, but basically that's what this play was. It was soul-crushing. It brought you to tears. It was just wonderful.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, I think it has many emotions. Yes, many of the stories are sad. However, many are hopeful as well. And at the end of the play, we want people to go away with joy.
Okay. Well, once again, I really love the performance, and I love your performance tonight, too. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I am Li Chen. I am an actor, and I'm from China. I'm very glad to be part of this production. I play Linda in Joy Luck Club at this production. Oh, I like her smartness, and she doesn't settle down for what life gives her. She finds a way to, move on to get what she wants.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Expect laughter and tears, and you can learn a lot about life and appreciate the life that you have in America.
So, question: how do you compare this to, say, Crazy Rich Asians? I mean, Crazy Rich Asians was more of a comedy; it was more lighter. This was such a traumatic drama. What are your thoughts on that?
I think for the movie, it's more. It's a comedy. It's not all the Asian people live a life like that. It's in reality, not many Asian people live like that. But there's not lots of relationship, mother-daughter, mother-son relationship in that movie. But for the production, the Joy Luck Club, Amy Tan wrote it because of the old generation from China moved to America. Have a new generation. It's about the connection of old and new. I think that's what this play is about.
Well, I love the play. I love your performance, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I'm Nancy Ma. I grew up in New York, and I live in Los Angeles now. I'm really grateful to be part of the Joy Luck Club.
Great. Which character do you play?
I play Jing Mei. It's really someone coming to grips with regret about not being closer to her mom and coming full circle to celebrate and honor her mom at the end.
So if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Incredible storytelling and joy and hope and reasons to keep going in spite of all the pain and trauma that we all go through.
I love the piece. Basically, this is a real theater piece because it was about tragedy. It was about, you know how great theater is soul-crushing? That was the whole thing about this thing. I thought it was just wonderfully done.
Thank you so much. No, it means so much for people to come and feel like they're represented, they hear their own stories, and tell all your friends to come and let's celebrate family and celebrate hope.
Well, once again, wonderful performance. I loved your performance, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Robert O'Hare. I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. Went to school at the University of Oklahoma. Moved out here to pursue my dream of acting.
Great. And which character do you play tonight?
I play Drunk Man, I play Rich, I play Ted, and a chess player.
So what's your take on your favorite characters?
I like both of the significant others that I play, Rich and Ted. I think that they help tell the Chinese American story in their own way. They are both Caucasian, but they help facilitate what the themes mean. They don't know the Chinese American experience, and because of that, they highlight it.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see everything, the whole gamut of emotions. There's love, there's joy, there's hope, there's despair, there's tragedy. I mean, really it is a play that encompasses everything. And it's not just the Chinese American story, it's everyone's story.
You know, I've asked this question to someone else before. What's it like being the only minority among a cast of Caucasian people? What is it like to be the only Caucasian person in a cast of minorities?
I think it's wonderful because we don't really... I know that is an experience that people have, but being the majority ethnicity in this country, you don't actually feel that. But getting this experience has been such a lesson for me. I have bonded with my Chinese American family. They have called me their Xiao Di. I am their adopted little brother. And it really teaches me the importance of representation and why everyone's stories need to be told. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, and everyone just wants to feel. They want to be seen and heard.
Well, I really love the performance there. I love your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be on it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm at KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
My name is Victor Chi. I'm a local to the San Gabriel Valley here. We're doing the Joy Luck Club at Sierra Madre Playhouse. It'd be great if you could come out and check us out. We're half sold out, so you better book now.
Great. And which characters do you play?
I play Tin Jung, one of the husbands. The Watermelon Man, which everyone remembers Russell Wong in. The Archer in there's like a Beijing opera scene, and a bunch of other characters I can't think of right now.
So what's your take on your favorite characters?
You know, my favorite character is probably Tin Jung. There's a scene where I'm courting Auntie Lindo, and it's just, I don't know, it's so much fun to play. It's a very sweet scene, and I just enjoy it every night. I actually look forward to it every night.
You know, I actually saw the original Joy Luck Club film, and I had some friends, some Asian male friends, who said, you know, first of all, you know, Crazy Rich Asian, they say this is the first film of predominantly mainstream Asian actors in a mainstream film. But when you since Joy Luck Club, but when you think about it, all the actors in the Joy Luck Club, none of them were really leading men. They were all villains. This Crazy Rich Asian is the first time they were actually leading men. But then again, I kind of like villains. They're more theatrical. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I made a career playing villains. They're just more fun. But representation does matter. And if you're always a gangster or something, that's just... As fun as it is as an actor to play those things, you can't help but feel like you're adding to stereotypes or negative views on a certain group of people, because that's all that's represented in media. So this play, I get to play like, you know, a sweet guy or something, and it's nice playing against what we're used to playing, I guess.
Yeah, but I thought you guys were fantastic. And I love villains myself. More complex, more
more fun. They're just more fun. You know, like, why is this guy stabbing an infant in the eye? That's terrible. Why? And as an actor, you have to figure out why. Whereas a good guy is like, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. You know, the bad guys are just more fun to play, and you got to figure out, you have to justify everything you do, even though it's ridiculous or it makes no sense to you. But that's the fun in it.
Yeah, well, I love your performance, and I love villains, so I thought you were fantastic in it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
The Joy Luck Club will be playing at Sierra Madre Playhouse from August 24th to October 5th. For more information, go to www.sierramadreplayhouse.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Pacific Resident Theater for the world premiere of Andy Warhol's Tomato.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Derek Cheriton. Yeah, well, I'm playing Andy in Andy Warhol's Tomato here at Pacific Resident Theater, and I'm currently holding a garlic knot, and it's the opening gala.
So what's your take on Andy Warhol?
He's a very unique individual with a lot of very interesting ideas. Some of the quotes I've seen from him are amazing. Like he does the silk screening, which is repeated images over and over. And one of his quotes is, "Isn't life just a series of images that repeat as they change as they repeat?" Yeah, he's a very interesting guy. I read his biography, and it's interesting. Yeah.
So, question: my viewers decided to come by and see this piece. So, what should they expect to see?
It's a two-man show, and it's set in the 40s because that's when Andy Warhol was 19, which is it's a younger Andy Warhol, so it's not the our known version of him that has been in the media. So there's kind of a little room to play for me in there, but yeah, they should expect it's a show, emotionally charged show between two artists.
I agree with that. My son actually goes to music school. Every now and then I see some of these kids who are like prodigies. Like, they can play the piano, they play Beethoven when they're 5, but there's something missing about them. It's almost like their parents force them. Do they really have the passion in them? What drives them? There's something missing. What is it? And ever since I thought about it, I was thinking about what makes an artist an artist. I mean, do they have to be driven? Do they have to be talented? Do they have to just be obsessed? Do they have to suffer pain and passion over their art? Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, pain's part of life, so you just need to be human to feel that. But I think you do have to have a passion for it. So you can be forced to play the piano when you're younger, but when you get older, if you don't have the passion, then I don't know, if you're not an artist, but I don't think you would qualify yourself as a piano artist if you're not passionate about it. So I think it's passion. I think it's something you can't live without, sort of thing. Something like love. It's a different kind of love that your life needs in order to function happily.
Because I saw that tonight. It was not just an artist who was basically driven, who was just basically born differently with, I'm just touched by God or something. But there was another artist who was like, I'm just built this way. I don't know. I just can't think about anything else but this. I mean, I'm a hard-working guy, and I want to try to be a normal, ordinary person, but I can't because, that's me too. I mean, it just showed the soul of a person, and it's different from some other people. But other people can identify, because some people are passionate about cooking. Some people are passionate about food. Some people are passionate about football, and they all identify with that. You know what I mean about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because basically I just saw that. If my viewers come by and see this, they'll see a guy who actually talks about baseball the same way some people talk about art. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So basically, I just thought it was beautiful. I thought that the two actors, you and your co-star, were fantastic. Also thought some people say not a whole lot happened tonight, but it wasn't about that. You actually saw a glimpse of something. You just saw a glimpse of art. That's basically even some of the music you heard. Sometimes there was a classical piece of music. It just came right at the end. It was just beautifully done.
Yeah. That was the director, Dana. She had to fit that choral section in there, and it is beautiful. It really wrapped the whole thing up nice with a bow.
Well, once again, I love the performance. I got the performance too, and I got you also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Andy Warhol's Tomato will be playing at Pacific Resident Theater from August 10th to September 22nd. For more information, go to www.pacificresidenttheater.com. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Will Geer's Theatricum Botanicum for their presentation of Heinrich Ibsen's An Enemy of the People.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Christopher W. Jones. This has been an extraordinary process doing this play, and just like a multi-layered play that we've taken this. I'm Norwegian, so I've always enjoyed Ibsen plays, but it's the first time I actually performed in one. So the weight of it, and then putting this in the 1980s and adding the stain of the civil rights era and racism and the weight of that 27-layered burrito it's been one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. But it's been an extraordinary experience.
Great. Which character you play?
I play Thomas Stockman. Thomas Stockman is a good man. He's a good doctor. He loves his family dearly. He's very excitable, and he believes in the truth, and he's so excited about being a part of the community. It's the thing that excites him the most. But he gets a little ahead of himself. He talks before he thinks, and in this play he takes things a little bit too far and stirs up some violence that almost gets them in trouble. But he's a dreamer, and he's a father, and he's a believer.
I love this take on Ibsen because on the enemy of the people. Because basically, it's like your character is he's a bit too good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if you put him in the right situation, you put him in the South, you have him face racism. Suddenly, it just wakens it. It just makes it so relevant. You know what I mean?
Of course. The hard thing, we work so fast here, and sometimes we don't get to have as many conversations as we need to have about racism and the layers of how that affects every single character in this play. And especially in 1980, to have a mixed race family at this place in rural South Carolina, and what that would do. Now we're used to that. This family is very normal now. We see commercials now at the breakfast table with a mixed race family. So to put it at that time and to feel what that would have been like, I think is extraordinary. But it requires a lot of conversation. So we have to do extra work backstage when we're not in rehearsal to have these conversations because of the spirit of this place and how quickly we move. So that has been a challenge too, is really connecting with each person to make sure we're understood and all those gaps are filled, all that connective tissue comes together, because it's so weighty. It's already weighty. Ibsen repeats himself 8 million times in every play, and then we put this on top of it, and there's a huge weight on it. There's a huge weight on us.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of racism out there. I mean, there's people. There's still a lot of racism out there. But basically, if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a very dynamic cast. They should expect to see a very uplifting experience. They should feel uncomfortable looking at some of this racism and how it's reflecting what we're looking at right now, with whether it be the Ku Klux Klan or our president or neo-Nazis or everything in between. People posing that and throwing dog whistles left and right. So you're going to feel a little uncomfortable at times, but you're also going to be lifted up at the spirit of this family and how they come together at the end.
Yeah, they'll also see basically dynamic, almost preaching, but preaching of, I wouldn't say about God, preaching about common sense, about fairness, about what happens when a family is threatened, about what happens when they're just about doing the right thing, and they'll be actually uplifted, they'll be encouraged, they'll be actually motivated to go out there and do the right thing. You know what I mean?
I love that. I think that's great. Stockman likes to talk about the categories that we put ourselves in as human beings, poor and rich, or black and white, and he really breaks it down as the most important thing is the educated and uneducated, and it's not a bad word at all. And the lowest, the commoners in society do not. The common people are really the uneducated people. So that's the argument, and he gets into some hot water over it. But I love that. I love your take on it. I love what you said.
Well, I loved your performance because first I loved your words. Almost like you were doing a rap, almost like you were singing a song, like a black musical or something like that. You were imitating like a black preacher or even the presidential candidate. So I just loved your performance tonight. I love the performance as a whole tonight. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. See you soon.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with?
Catherine Griffith. I'm playing Mildred Stockman, the mayor and older sister to the enemy of the people, and I think this play by Ibsen, as adapted by Ellen Geer, is very relevant for our times. You have the overly practical and the overly idealistic, and the divided city, the divided town, and even moderation is made fun of, and it brings up such important issues. And I play a little bit of the villain in it, but it's very exciting to do.
So what's your take on Mildred?
Mildred, I think she really loves the town. And, you know, she says ideas a dime a dozen. You got to make them reality. You know, you've got to, how can you make it practical? She's probably got some racism she doesn't know she has, but she does want to work with the people. And if you take away the people's income, she's concerned that, you know, people are going to starve. But is she going to cut corners and shovel things under the rug that shouldn't be? So her position isn't totally right, but I think she genuinely loves her brother, genuinely loves her town, and wants the best, and is thinking of the practical part of things. She's a politician.
I agree. I love the way you played your character, because she was, again, when you become a politician, something happens to you. You might start off as a nice person, but people change. I don't know if it's the power that changes them. I don't know if it's the people, the influence, the you know, the money that comes in. But whatever it is, the person just isn't the same again.
Do you know what it is? It's also you're used to working the practicality. You can say do this with people, but I know what they want. A politician like, let's say Nancy Pelosi, knows what you can say all you want with idealistic stuff, but what's really going to make it happen? You've got to acknowledge, you can't insult people. You know, I mean, I think she's not the worst politician. I think she's probably got some money in the game, but I don't think greed is her major thing. I think the thriving of her town is. And you don't insult these people. You got to work with everyone, and you got to work with who people are. Ibsen also says about this play, he wants to bring up questions, not answers. So I think what's so wonderful, I hope everyone goes out thinking questions. Wow, which side? What do I think? How do I work with my people? Am I too idealistic? Am I too practical? How do you really listen to people? What needs to be done? What do you do when there's contamination in water or climate change or wars? But how do you deal with the practical element? Because if you don't get to that, you can't really always make the change.
I'm amazed at how relevant it is to modern day times.
Isn't it? It was written in like 1882 or something like that. And you think, boy, the human race, we don't change, do we? Oh my gosh, it is amazing. And Ibsen's like the father of modern drama. And I think Ellen picked the perfect era to put it in, you know, and she picks, I said, why'd you pick South Carolina? And she says, because they were the state that still didn't allow interracial marriage, you know, for the longest. And so that gives another whole element to it, you know.
I love the performance. I loved your performance in particular, too, because you were the perfect foil. Kind of, you know, a play isn't just about the hero. It's also about the antagonist.
Yes.
And you were the perfect antagonist for this.
Thank you. I loved it. You know, it's almost like I'm more an idealist, frankly, but maybe my family has been a Mildred to me, and it's funny to play your shadow side or your demon side, and actually how easy it is that you've got this person in you, you know. So,
once again, loved your performance. You're fantastic. Love the performance as a whole. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for talking to me, and tell everyone to come.
Heinrich Ibsen's An Enemy of the People will be playing at Theatricum Botanicum from June 22nd to September 28th. For more information, go to www.theatricum.com.